Hello, hello, and welcome back into the Kindred Kitchen. We are still continuing with our 25 days of Christmas, and we hope that you are enjoying some of these recipes as well. My name is Pam, if you have not met me before, and V is behind the camera.
Hello, hello.
And we are the Kindred Vegans. We are on a mission to bring whole food, plant-based health and weight loss to all the women that we know and love. And if you are one of them, make sure you go down below and subscribe so that you see what's coming up and you know all of our recipes and how we are losing weight, because we have lost over 160 pounds together following a whole food, plant-based diet. If you'd like to join us, go over to Facebook. We are Whole Food, Plant-Based Health and Weight Loss with Kindred Vegans on Facebook, and we have our own group there. Join us there, and we do lots of content, have videos there, lives once a month, and we would love to see you there. But today, what we are making for our 25 days of Christmas is a lentil loaf. And let me tell you, I have tried, I don't know how many lentil loaves, and what always gets me is the consistency, that semi-firm consistency that a lentil loaf has. So I'm going to give you my recipe, and then I'm going to show you how we make it not have that consistency and have more of a firmer texture to it. So let me tell you the ingredients, but you don't need to write this down because I'm going to put it down in the description box below, and let me show you what we've got here. I have 1.5 cups of lentils that I'm going to cook in vegetable broth. So I have 3 cups of broth here. To cook the lentils in. I have 1 onion chopped up and a half a bell pepper chopped. I have 3 cloves of garlic here. I've got 2 teaspoons of tamari that's going to go into our loaf. I have 2 teaspoons right here of our Chicks Mix, which is our own seasoning. If you don't have this made up, you can use a good poultry seasoning. I have a half a teaspoon of pepper. I have a teaspoon and a half of salt. I also have a half a cup of polenta. If you're in the South, think grits. It's just corn, okay? So this is a half a cup of polenta, and I am going to cook this. Normally I would cook polenta in a cup of water, half a cup of polenta to a cup of water, but instead I am using 3/4 of a cup of water so that it is thicker. It hasn't absorbed all of the liquid. So that's what I'm going to do today. Let's take it over to the stove and let's get cooking. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is get our lentils going. So I've got my 1.5 cups of lentils, and I'm going to add some vegetable broth, and I am just going to keep adding. If you add too much, we can always strain it out later before we put it in the loaf. But I would like to not add too much and, just have just the right amount. So I'm going to get this boiling, and then I'm going to turn it back to simmer. I'm going to leave it covered, and then I'm just going to keep an eye on it. And when I need more broth, I will add more broth. Okay, let me add a cover to that. Up front here, we are going to add our polenta. And then I've got my 3/4 cup of water here. The polenta will not take nearly as much time to cook as the lentils. So I'm going to bring this up to a boil, same as the lentils. Then I'm going to turn it back to a simmer, and I'm really going to keep an eye on it. When the water's absorbed, I'll just turn off the heat and put it to the back of the stove. All right. Okay, I got to get my lid for that. And then we will be back to take care of the vegetables. Now for my veggies, I've got just a little tiny pan right here. My polenta is now covered. Found that lid. Come on, out of there. And my garlic. Onion, pepper, garlic. And I'm going to cook these up, so I'm going to keep stirring these. Okay, my polenta is boiling now, so let me see the front. Let me turn the heat back. Let me give this a quick stir. And I'm going to let it bubble away here on just a low temperature for a couple of minutes, and then I will turn off the heat. I'm going to add just a touch of broth in here. And turn that up. Come on, get you rolling and cooking. Okay, I'm going to cover this and let this sit, stirring it frequently, and we will be back in a few minutes and I'll show you what we got going on. We are back, and you can see my lentils are perfectly cooked. They're a little mushy, which is just how I want them. I used all but maybe 1 cup of water, of broth. So, but you can see I don't have any left. So I used probably, what did I say I had in there?
You had 3 quarts.
No, this only holds 2 quarts. So I had a quart and a half.
Sorry.
So I've used just over a quart. So I've used about 3 to 4 cups, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna put, I actually used 3 cups. I think I used about 3 cups, yeah. But I didn't want any left in the bottom, and that's how it is. So I'm gonna put this in my mixing bowl here, little by little. I'll get there. It'll take me a little bit of time. While I'm moving this over, you know, I have tried so many lentil loaves. You know, I mean, I've been vegan for some years now and trying out these lentil loaves. You know, it's always a struggle to find that perfect recipe that's going to be satisfying. And I really think I've done it this time. So my family was very happy with this recipe. And it's really, you know, it's helping me stay healthy. So that's the main point here. I want to be healthy. Let me move this out of the way. So I've got my lentils here. Here are the cooked vegetables. My onions, peppers, and garlic. Oh, took the lid off and that smells really good. You can smell all those veggies. Let me mix this up, and I'm going to add the tamari right here.
So this is not very veg dominant either.
No, it's not. I would serve it with vegetables. I mean, that's what I do with most of my loaves. And I wanted the flavor of the veg, but I think sometimes the veg keeps it from sticking together, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you get too much vegetables in there. Now I've got my salt, my pepper, and my Chick's Mix, or my poultry seasoning. Let me get this all mixed up. All right, so we are mixing and mixing. I think I've got this pretty well mixed. Let me add in the polenta, which, as you remember, should be pretty thick because I made it thicker. And I actually let it sit there, so I may have to break it up a little bit. The polenta really helps with the liquid, you know, to get that liquid absorbed. And so I know this takes a little bit of work, but it is definitely worth it. I know we try to come out with just simple recipes that are quick and easy and simple, but sometimes you want, you know, especially at the holidays, you want to wow people or have something a little bit more time consuming. Maybe you have a little extra time. And so we're going to just keep working this until this polenta is well mixed in. Okay, so you can see I've got this all mixed in, all my seasonings mixed in, the polenta's all mixed in, and it looks a little bit mushy, right? Which is going to add to it. So I have a silicone baking loaf pan here, and that's what I'm going to use. And I'm going to put this in it, and we're not going to bake it. This is going to be a mold. So what we're going to do is fill this up, cover it with some saran wrap on the top, and then we will put this in the refrigerator overnight because this has got to sit overnight and it will become firm. And then I'm going to show you tomorrow what we're going to do with this. It'll be my tomorrow, but you're going to see it in the same video. So I know, confusing. But this does have to sit overnight to really cool down and solidify. And now you can see why we have that cornmeal and we made it a little thicker. Is because that cornmeal in here, the polenta or the grits, however you want to, is going to absorb a lot of any excess liquid and make it firm. So that's what it looks like now. And then, should I say, because we will be back to show you what we do with this tomorrow and we'll finish it out. So I'm gonna say goodbye for now, but I'm gonna see you in just a second because, you know, I will mush these two videos together. So we'll be back. Okay, so we are back for day 2, and you can see my loaf here. It is firmed up in the refrigerator, and I am just cutting it into, I like nice fat slices. So I am cutting it into some nice chunky slices here. This one's a little real fat. I might trim this edge down here. I just don't want it to be too fat, too thick. And I'm putting it on a nice silicone-lined baking sheet. I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. And I am gonna pop these in the oven. This is part of the secret, is I'm gonna pop these in the oven for 30 minutes, then I'm gonna flip it for another 30 minutes, and then we will be back to show you the end result. Okay, so I took these out of the oven and I flipped them after 30 minutes, and now they have set. I flipped them so there's some brown on both sides, and then I let them sit for about 10 minutes. So they're still hot, but they really firm up nicely. I put a couple on a plate here for you. You can see they get crispy on the edges and everything from the time in the oven. 30 minutes, 30 minutes, let them sit 10 minutes, and they firm up nicely.
And it smells really good too.
And there you have it. That is my lentil loaf. I hope you give it a try this holiday season. And make sure you go down and subscribe down below, because we want you to know every time we're coming out with another video. Make sure you go over to kindredvegans.com, sign up for our newsletter. And if you're not in our Facebook group, it's for women only. It's a private Facebook group where we really get down and dirty into the details of whole food plant-based health and weight loss. Go over there and join us. It's Facebook. It's whole food plant-based health and weight loss with Kindred Vegans. We would love to have you. And we will see you again tomorrow for another 25 days of Christmas. Bye for now.